So Douglas Wong is here with us, and he's sharing about what his family has been doing. He's been in the martial arts since the what? How long has it been, sir?
Oh man, I started about 1964 is when I started, and
Right.
that
That's the
was
year I was
in,
born. Sorry.
yeah, but
Legend.
That was a
yeah,
good year.
yeah, when I
Yes, same here.
started wasn't even kung fu. I was more into the different styles, but kung fu wasn't offered during that time period when I started. So I started in judo, got into Kenpo, karate under Chuck Sullivan, under Ed Parker's system, Shotokan, Aikido, uh, any martial arts system out there, I was trying to practice. I was trying to learn from everyone. And finally, my teacher opened up his studio in Chinatown. That's why I got into the Kung Fu art. So I've been more into that. But yeah, I have touches in all systems, Filipino, Chinese, Korean, Okinawan, whatever. I just love martial arts in general. That's it.
Right. That is
That's
obvious.
phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
Phenomenal. I always love the art of wushu. It's so pretty.
Oh,
Right.
Because I
yes.
have a dance background, so that always caught my eye. And it's just, oh.
Right.
And I've noticed a lot of the posts that you post of your wife doing her wushu. It's just
Oh, yeah.
badass. It's just so beautiful. Love
Well,
it.
she was on the first U.S. Wushu team that started here in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was in traditional. Then I had her go study, the Wushu here in Los Angeles under Jimmy Ebrow, who was Ed Parker's first black belt, and he opened up the first Wushu school in Los Angeles. And we studied with Rogers Tongue and what's his name? Oh, I can't even think of his name now. Anthony Chan. They are the two that brought the Wushu over from the United States. So I study Wushu also to learn all the forms for judging purposes. So yeah, I have a little bit of background in the Wushu area also.
I love that. I got a question for Douglas. Did
Yeah.
you, at the time when you were shooting involved with the TV show Kung Fu, did you know that that was initially Bruce Lee's project?
Yes,
You did.
I did.
Oh,
Was when
wow.
when they brought me into the studio and they said, well, we have an actor that we're going to use in the Kung Fu series. I said, well, I thought this belonged to Bruce Lee because it was
Yeah.
written in all the Chinese newspaper during that time period. And they said, no, we're not using him. We're using this other person. We want you to see if you think he looks Eurasian. I said, Eurasian. I said, okay. So they brought out David Carradine in a skull cap and white robe on, eyes done up a little bit.
Oh, no.
And they said, do you think you can train him? I said, I could train anybody. That's no problem. So that's how I got involved with. So I was hired to teach him and his brother, Keith Carradine, to play the
Ah,
younger. Yeah, so I taught both of those guys. So I was
I just got chills.
helping David Chow as an assistant technical advisor.
Okay.
Because in reality, David Chow didn't know Kung Fu. He was a judo man. He's a black belt in judo. But he was a salesman. He would sell you dirt on the ground and I'd keep you laughing at the same time. So that's how I got involved in it with Cam Yuen, who was from the Thai Manta system. So we were both helping David Chow uh, putting together everything because of uniform and stuff like that. But Dave was going to have him wear a judo uniform. And me and Cancel, no, it's Kung Fu uniform. We do a whole different thing. We
Wow.
wear shoes, we do a certain bow, with the salute with the hand, and not so much of the Japanese style. So we sort of got that all straightened out.
Wow. That's just epic.
Yep. So I
Epic.
got myself in there, and I got my brother, Curtis Wong, who's published for Inside Kung Fu magazine.
I met
And I got my
Curtis through James
good
Liu. Yeah,
friend James Liu
really
into
good
it
guy.
also. Yeah,
Yeah.
so all those guys. So we all got together, and I got Albert into other things later on, Albert Leon. So they're all part of my troupe, and Steve Lambert also.
The
So
gang.
yep,
Oh,
so all the guys, so we've been in it together for a long time. Many movies,
yeah.
many stars to
Mhm.
work with. From Stallone to Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody, everybody in the business we work with.
Are
Phenomenal.
you working on any project right now, sir?
Not right now. I'm just semi-retired. If my son needs help, then I go out and help him do, set up things and explain things, different styles. So since I've been involved in so many styles, sometimes they ask for Japanese system, sometimes they ask for the Filipino style, they ask for whatever.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, well, yeah, you can do it this way, that way. So Yeah, I help him whenever. But like I said, he's finishing up his movie now, and then he's getting ready to go to Canada in 2 months to do a movie up there. But I don't know the details yet. I'm still waiting to find out about that.
What,
Yes.
Vancouver?
Might be. James moved up there now. James
Oh,
moved.
Vancouver. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him yet. I'm in
Yeah.
Vancouver right now. It's like I saw he moved here. Like, why? It's got to be for film, right? No, it's a beautiful city,
No,
but
he,
it's a
he
lot of
just
rain.
wanted to get away from Hollywood and just they love it up there. Him and his wife, they love the area around there, so they decided just to move up there. And if he does any more movies or anything, he'll do it. If not, he's just retired.
Hey, well, it's North Hollywood up here. There's still a lot of work out here, so
Oh,
he should do very well. Yeah.
yeah. So,
I know. I got to sneak and pay him a visit. Hello. We're neighbors now.
sure.
So Grandmaster Wong, earlier we had talked a little bit about what your wife, your family, your daughter, your son has been doing some pretty high profile movies and working with some very well-known actors like your son was in, I believe it was, I may not be getting this right, but was it Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim 2. We did work
Okay.
on that. He worked on Doctor Strange, Captain America, the Green Hornet, the White House Down. I mean, you name it. He's been in almost everything, and he's been doing music videos also for the last 10 years. He did Jennifer Lopez Follow the Leader on Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus. I mean, he worked with everybody.
He's everywhere.
Yep, everywhere. He's done the
Everywhere.
spokesman for Red Bull. He goes all over the world.
Oh,
Stuff in Korea, and France, England, everywhere. So he Greece. So he enjoys the traveling part. That's why he hasn't settled down, got married yet.
He's busy having fun.
Oh yeah, too busy.
Well, I think that's just great that your family has been involved for so long. So your father was a martial artist.
Not per se, not my father. My uncle was. My father was more into the herbal medicine, so he taught me a lot of different
Oh,
things like that. Different way of cooking certain food and different things like that. But my uncle was more into the kung fu part, the movement part.
I see. Well, Sharon has a lot of information about nutrition that
well, and
she,
I was going to ask, and I do because my background, as you know, is bodybuilding and fitness, and we're 35 years, and I found because I met a lot of I dabbled in film and television, nothing like Douglas here and his family, and a lot of people that I know that's connected through that side about the fitness industry, right? But I did learn that everybody followed the muscle fitness and the bodybuilding fitness
Mhm.
magazine. This is before internet, so that's where you found
Yes.
your nutrition and workout tips from the the bodybuilding pros. Aside
Yes.
from the other formal publications that were available, they still are, but everyone's into the internet. But what amazed me is the array of athletes that followed the publications. And I know Bruce Lee was huge into bodybuilding, like keeping the body fit, and that
Mhm.
along with his martial arts studies. As I found you did too, Douglas, and your family. And so, we have something in common, and that's, being physical, not only through the arts, craft of martial arts, but through the gym. And so how important was the Iron Gym and nutrition to martial arts for the three of you? How did that play into what you guys do?
Douglas,
Oh, me? Okay.
Anybody?
or Sonny.
Yeah, we believe a lot in nutrition because we follow what the Chinese have called yin and yang, and following the different methods of eating food. So there's certain food that we would eat in the summer, in the winter, in spring and fall. So there's like certain vegetables we have, certain soup that we create for that time period because of the weather, because the body may be too hot, so we have to cool it down. And we work with different things like that. So we used to have cooking classes in our kung fu class. We used to my wife who teaches cooking classes, how to cook what for what, and different ingredients. So we have the people come into the house and we show them different things, how to put it together. And also into the herbal medicine that I learned from my teacher, how to work on broken bones, sprains, backaches, whatever. And I learned all the different massaging techniques, how to align the bodies, how to align the tendons and different things like that for all the muscle aches and everything. Because when I was teaching, I taught a lot of different people in different sports. I had basketball players, baseball players, track, Olympic people I had. So I worked with a lot of them. So I had to like massage some of these runners on a daily basis to get them prepared to go on for the next event. And like I had a couple of baseball players where they came to me that were doing 89 miles an hour fast pitch. And after I worked with them for a couple of months, they're doing 95, 96. So
Wow.
all this was done with through my massaging technique and no ice. We never use ice to put onto the body. So we had different way of massaging the body where it kept it working per se. But sometimes the ice is good to a certain point, but what happens if you put it around the back of your neck, that's what the Chinese call the wind point. That's what causes the cold and the energy goes into your body. So we always try to avoid ice for that purpose.
Interesting.
But other times you need it.
That is so interesting. I know a lot of the viewers will find that as well, because a lot of my training as an athlete, so I was also in track when I was younger, was always heat and ice, when recovering and for injury and everything. It's just the last few years I learned that no ice, just heat, right? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
That is interesting.
Yeah, and massage is so important. You got to keep everything open.
Yes.
I find that throughout a lot of my training, especially, because we're constantly in the gym. So if you don't stretch, if you don't get a massage, if you don't get your alignment readjusted, everything just kind of seizes up, just locks in and it suppresses a lot of your energy. Causes injury, right? Yeah, massage is very important to find. So, and herbs, because I'm all about the BCA, the zinc and the L-lysine and the creatine, and that's all part of our supplements for bodybuilding, so we can, train harder and get bigger and last longer. But a lot of people overlook the herbal aspects of health. And I know that the Chinese have that down to an art. And a good friend of mine who, the late GM Harry Mock got me more into herb studies and how important that is for your health. So it's quite interesting. A lot of research to be done on that, but it's, and it's ancient. I'm sorry, but that's been around a lot longer than creatine, and it's just, if you really get into it, it's just amazing what they can do for your body and your health. And again, it's all about nutrients, right? And nutrition. It comes down again. It stems down to one. It's the nutrients, nutrition. It's what you put into your body and or use to heal and to prevent any injuries and inflammation and what have you. And especially important again for anti-aging.
What's your thought on using or doing acupuncture? Because I know myself personally, I've had it done for me and it's helped me many times over, from healing to boosting my immune system. Like, what's your thoughts on it in using
Douglas?
acupuncture?
No, acupuncture is very good. That's one of the main Chinese art they use in working the different points of the body. There's like 365 points they use
Absolutely.
at the acupuncture college.
Yes.
When I was under my teacher, Dr. Andrew Ming, is his family that was the start of acupuncture. So it was in his family for 99 generations. So all the ones you hear about now is like 1, 2, or 3 generations. My teacher goes back to the beginning of acupuncture. So I studied under him for 5 years, but before I got my license, he got into a car accident and passed away about 6 months after. So I didn't get my license. So I just stopped. I didn't want to practice anybody else's. There's nobody else could be as good as what he taught us. Was in his family points is 1,000 points compared to 365. So I just couldn't study with anybody else after that. So I retained doing the acupressure and the massaging part I do the needles once a month, but I'm not that in depth into, so I don't mess with the needle. But it's very
Mhm.
good, you know. But I used to take all my students and go to his daughter, who was our doctor, our acupuncture doctor, until she retired. Now I don't have anybody that I can trust, so I don't
Uh,
do acupuncture anymore. And you
yeah,
know, so I just
that's
laid
too
low
bad.
off of that.
Okay.
That's too bad. I was in a car accident years ago, and I still have issues with my neck. But again, you know, acupuncture's done wonders for that. Just keep it opened and aligned. It does wonderful. It realigns the energy too.
But yeah, so
Yeah, it makes a
Mhm.
huge difference.
get
It
that
does.
energy to flow. Because every time you have an injury, it's either a blockage of energy or overabundance of energy. So you have to balance it out. You either take the energy out or you put energy in. So
Yeah,
that's what the balance point is all about. So that's what
Mhm.
about the acupuncture.
it's wonderful. I love it.
Yes. No, that's terrific. Because, like myself personally, I caught pneumonia really bad, and after 2 weeks of being in the hospital, all they kept giving me was certain medicine, and it really didn't help until I did the acupuncture and the herbs and that from my Chinese medicine doctor, you could say.
Right.
And so I totally believe in it. I mean, every types of medicine has its purpose and reason, right? It has its good points and not so good points. So
Yeah,
I get
I mean, the pharmaceuticals, they really don't, I'm sorry, but they
hmm
don't want you to get better, you know, and then
yes.
have access to the herbs and the, you know, acupuncture and other health aspects. They poo
hmm
that because it works. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sorry to hear you
Absolutely.
had pneumonia. That's horrible. 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah. It was if anything, I advise everybody to stay in decent shape because I know that for a fact, for me, if it wasn't me in being decent shape, I wasn't coming back from that pneumonia. So it was one of those things that kept
Especially
me.
right now with the COVID. I mean, it is a respiratory
Yeah.
virus going around.
hmm
Yeah, very important. And again, I mean, it's always important to stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Always. No one's going to take care of you, but you really have to. I mean, when we're younger,
hmm
we're strong, we're fast, and you know,
hmm
we're, you know, we're made of iron, right? But you start to notice
Yes.
it as you age, where you know things, you know, like sarcopenia and you get the inflammations, and you start to,
hmm
you know, things start going south.
Yeah.
But a lot of that again can be retained with healthy choices, such as, you know,
hmm
again, working out and keep moving. Just keep moving. Even if
Yes,
it's power,
exactly.
you know, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go squat all day or, you
No.
know, go into the dojo and spend hours, you know, unless you want. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yep.
there's people saying, I don't have the time, and I just don't feel like
Yep.
it. Or, you know, all the excuses. It's like, it's, you know, it's 20 minutes out of your day even. I think
Exactly.
you
Just go for a walk. That's it.
gotta
That's
keep
it.
it. So important.
Just keep the body moving. It's like that saying, right? If you don't use it, you lose
Yeah,
it.
listen,
Yeah,
that is
that's right.
true.
You know, that's why my grandmother used to have a saying that she always says, old age starts in the legs, she
Yes.
said, because,
Yes.
if you look at people in the Eastern world versus the Western world, you see the older folks in the Western world, they're like walking,
Yeah.
and then in the Eastern world, no problem. When they're waiting for a light or they're eating, they're squatting down and eating, right? Rather than using a chair every now and then. Like they're up and down, moving, walking everywhere. Unlike here, it's like,
Well, we're
I hate to
spoiled,
say that.
right? You either
Mm-hmm.
drive there, or you take the bus, or you
Mm-hmm.
sit in an office all day. You know, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry for the people that I had an office job with 20th Century Fox. I loved it, but when I had to sit all
Yeah.
day at a desk, it was murderous. You know, but yeah, I mean, that's why you know you got to keep the muscles strong. They're going
Yeah.
to atrophy as we age. It's called again muscle sarcopenia, but
Yes.
sarcopenia. You can help slow that down and maintain. Even if you
Mhm.
notice, like some of the, you know, our golden era bodybuilders, like Frank Zane, Samir,
Yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, they're
Yep.
still working out. And they're, Robbie Robinson's in his 70s, and he
Yes.
can stand on stage today and compete. So
Yes.
those of you who don't know that name, Google him.
I,
Obviously, Black Prince, right?
yeah, he's
I mean,
incredible.
lean, not just, you know, the lean, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Point is, they never stop training. Well, there's
No.
some that do stop training, you, like myself. You can get back into it, but the years I wasn't training anymore, I went through a period where I was in a dark period, and so a couple of years I was, you know, depressed and wasn't doing anything. And man, I started feeling my legs, the inflammation in my knees, and you know, like weak. I finally got back into the gym, and my legs were weak. Like, what's going on? That's there's something really wrong here. You know, I think I need like knee replacements or something. Anyway, it comes down to, you know, once I got active again, what I said again, you can come back. It's never too late. Right. And now the strength is, I mean, I'm not going to go squat 400 pounds anymore like I did when I was competing, you know, you know, just work out, you know, half hour every day, and she's in and out, she's done. I've got the tone back, everything. You have to keep moving or you will end up on a cane or in a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as we age, we don't want to be debilitated. We don't have to depend on everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So keep yourself healthy.
So I have a question, Sharon.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Thank you, Sonny. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
This is my dear cousin, Tracy. She's down in Gardnerville in the Carson City, Nevada area. It's great to see you here, cuz.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for joining.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
My question is both to Sharon and to Grandmaster Douglas Wong. So I have a friend who is in his late 40s and he's having problems with deterioration in his bones. And since you're on the subject of muscles and legs and this and that, and you're obviously experts in this, do you have any advice on that? Because he's afraid he's going to just, if he doesn't do something about his bone structure, which I don't know if anything can be done about that, but as far as muscles and muscle health, I tend to agree with you that if we strengthen our muscles, we're going to strengthen our bones and give them support. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'll let Mr. Wong answer first, out of respect.
Well, you do good.
Oh, did you want? Unless you don't.
It's a punt.
No, you definitely got to work out with the muscles. Muscles will help with the bones. So I'm not sure what his case is, you know, if he's not exercising enough or his diet or something, you know, that's, we don't know. I don't know the whole case. So it's hard to give a specific idea of what to do. But yeah, movement is very important. You got to do the breathing, you got to do the stretching, you got to do some type of muscle toning exercises to keep the body moving at all times. But if he's just sitting around, the bone's not going to do anything. The flow, the blood flow is not going to work at all. So, you know, a lot of the time that's what's going to affect the body. So you got to keep moving. So you got to find out if he's exercising or not exercising, depending on what his diet is. Also, you know, then if he's drinking too much alcohol, that's another thing. You know, there's so many different things that can affect the body. So you gotta, you know, ask him those type of questions first and find out what's happening behind it. You know, is there a main cause? Is there depression? Is there, you know, but it's mental also, not just physical, it's mental behind it. So that's what you have to find out.
Okay, so
Yeah, I agree with that because, you know, what he said. No, okay. Next question. No, absolutely. No, absolutely. He's absolutely correct. And again, you know, you got to stay hydrated. Hydration is very important too, because, you know, the blood carries oxygen and the oxygen feeds the body as well as the blood feeds the nutrients, and got to keep your gut healthy too. And again, it comes down, it's always going to relate to nutrition. It's what you put into your body, how you feel your body, but very important. And at a certain age, I think, you know, everybody should be on a multivitamin. Maybe his calcium's too low, again, stems to diet. And remember, as we age, not just, you know, the muscle, you know, everything changes. So sometimes you got to supplement more in certain nutrients and vitamins, and sometimes you can't just get it from fresh vegetables and fruits and lean meats. That's why vitamins are so important. Just a daily multivitamin, but have his calcium, have his blood work done and see what he's deficient in. I can guarantee you, all of us here, if we had our blood work done, each of us, we're all deficient in something, no one's like perfect, but have him do his blood work and see what he's deficient in. And, his calcium may be low, which happens as we age. So, and again, just very important, you got to eat healthy and stay hydrated, and alcohol is a big factor. Absolutely. It's okay to have a glass of wine or whatever is your poison, maybe, but yeah, it's alcohol is very, very damaging and can cause, sugar. I did a post a couple of weeks ago now on sugar, and so I train people, and whether they're competing or to lose weight, gain weight. I work with bulimics, diabetics, people that are just coming out of surgery, what have you. Everyone's different, but it all comes down to the same ailment, which is sugar. Sugar. And people just don't realize how much sugar is in your foods. And I always say, hey, it's all right. Hey, I like to treat myself now and then too. I mean, come on, I'm human. But now and then is the key. And, if you're buying packaged foods, we all do. I do too. Processed, whether canned or boxed, and that, read your labels. And the first thing I look for isn't like how much fat or sodium, which is also important, but it's sugar. It's got too much sugar, put it down, it's, and alcohol has a lot of sugar. And it's very damaging, it can cause leaky gut. Your gut's important. You've got to take care of your gut because it helps transport, break down, transport the nutrients and sends it where it needs to be in the body. And it can't do its job properly. It's called leaky gut. It just goes nowhere, really. And then you get bloated. Inflammation is a big harm factor in our physical structure, activity. It can cause joints in your pain in your joints, headaches, fatigue. So it's important to look at your gut, which could also relate to the bone, bone density. So all down to nutrition, hydration, and supplement that with some vitamins or whatever. I still take my BCAAs. They're important. It helps with recovery, with inflammation, with joint health, everything, bone health, right? So
yes.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to, I guess, help your gut move a little bit better? Is there any specific thing that people should be taking or doing to get that going?
Workout. Again, even if it's just a walk, hydrate, stay hydrated, help your body flush the toxins out.
Absolutely.
So you should drink at least 5 to 7, maybe 8 glasses of water a day, depending on your physical activity, if it's hot in your area, what have you. Everything's a factor, but stay hydrated, and you got to keep moving, keep the blood flowing, keep the heart pumping, keep the muscles at least maintained and somewhat healthy and strong. And again, that'll help your bone, like, everything balances out. Everything's a balance. So got to take care of yourself, just every day go up and tune your engine,
Yeah.
A question, may I ask a question?
Sure,
what about the hormonal side? I'm, aging, I'm 64, I'll be 65 this year. The hormonal thing seems to be huge, yet I can't get any answers.
Yeah, it is huge. And I'm right behind you. I'm going to be 60 next year. I just turned 59. And so, sorry guys, but I'm going to talk on menopause. Well, there's menopause, so
all good.
We all face it, right? Absolutely. And especially being an athlete all my life, and I always had I'm Native Indian as well, so I'm always long, thick hair, and the skin and everything. And especially after menopause, the hormones are bouncing all over us, obviously they do. And so we're lower in estrogen, and our testosterone rises, so it causes hair loss and bone density.
And hair growing in the wrong places.
Yeah, well, you said it. Well, I'm not. No, it happens to all of us, right? And it's interesting you're saying that you don't get enough information because, you know, I lived in LA for 25 years, born in Canada, I'm back in Vancouver right now, will be returning to LA. I can't wait because, especially here in Canada, I can't get any hormone replacement. But my girls across the border, they've gotten their hormone replacements and regimens done, and their hair is all thick, and we're the same age. I'm like, well, hey, what's going on here? Like, no, you need to be taking this, you know, and this is my doctor, so I talked to my doctor here. It is so important because, again, you've got to keep everything balanced. And so at a certain age, and after the menopause and or the menopause, you know, you've got to keep, you know, the testosterone estrogen balance for men or female, which makes us male or female. You got to, it's all part of the health ball, right? So not only is your nutrition even more important now, because everything starts to digress, you know, our muscle, our bone, our hair, everything. Hormone replacement is very, very important. I wish I had more answers for you because I'm trying to find out, but I am learning that after
because I can't
hormone replacement.
Yeah, I can't seem to find a doctor to give me those. And I prefer trying to go more natural. And I don't know if there's an estrogen, a natural estrogen.
I'm sure there is, and I'm researching too. Are you in the US or Canada?
US.
You're in the US.
Nevada. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. You know, and I do understand that there are certain doctors, because everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
That, you know, won't administer hormone replacement because it can cause breast cancer.
Right.
Always side effects of everything, right?
Right.
But I didn't, you know, at the time I had mine early 10 years ago, but I went through a serious loss. So through depression and stress and everything else, I didn't care about what was happening with my body, like with that.
Right.
So then when I started to care again and went to my doctor and, hey, you know, how come my sisters over here in the South are getting all this wonderful help, yet I can't find answers or anything, no one's gonna, and he just said, well, it's too late because when you're going through the menopause, you didn't do anything about keeping the hormone balancing and then the hot flashes and everything else, right? He goes, so you don't need it now. I'm like, well, no, I do, because, you know, yeah, hair loss, everything else, like you're saying. So that's seems to be an interesting subject as we get older. So, you know, I'll get your information through John. And if I find something, I'll send it to you.
That would be wonderful.
And if anyone out there is listening to us that may help us, myself and Tracy, please. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me at Sharon Bruneau at hotmail.com.
Okay.
It's out here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does Doug know any answers?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Do you have any herbs that can help us out there, Doug?
There are some woman herbs that the Chinese recommend to take. I can't think of it right now. Not on my mind.
Please write them down. Please write them down and send them to us because I'm desperate.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, as for the next question, Sharon, I've had people ask me about it, and they want me to ask you, since you've been in the fitness world and everything in that field, you could say forever. And I remember seeing all those magazines that you have in your background. I've got them all because I'll have to look in all my boxes because I've always been, you know, a big fan, but at the same time, it's like, to me, this is an honor. And, but the question is, what's your thoughts on dieting? Like from, you know, there's all this stuff that's going out there, keto diet, Play-Doh, this and that. Is it just a fad, or is there, you know, calorie deficit in that? I mean, I'd like to get some answer because my wife, who is into the fitness world too as well, she wants to get back into it, and before she turns 50, she wants to do a competition, and she just turned 48, Oh, I
That
should
would
have
be
said
nice.
that. I'm in trouble. But before she turns 50, she
Yeah,
wants to do
baby.
another. She wants to do another competition, and
Wonderful.
I'd like to get some advice for her to, what's a good way of cutting down, building up, whatever the case may be. What's your opinion and thoughts on that?
Well, thank you for that. And that is a very good question and one I hear all the time. And
Yes.
it's wonderful, first off, that there's so much information out there, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the internet. It's
Mhm.
horrible because there's too much information out there because of the internet. And it's like, what do you, right? Because there's a lot of false information. As far
Absolutely.
as dieting, right? Oh, it's overwhelming for a lot of people.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
what has always worked and through all, and I'm old school, don't care because I know what
Yeah.
works. And the people I'm training, a couple for competition right now, it all stems down to keep it simple, stupid. There's no secret. Now the ketone diets and this diet and that diet. I mean, hey, it's always good to switch it up here and there. I'm not a big fan of these because some people become too fanatical with these programs. It's all about eating clean. It's about knowing what you're putting into your stomach, right? And it's just simple. It's just your balanced proteins, your fibers, carbohydrates, and your lean carbohydrates. And it's, hydrating. Most of it's working out, but it is a diet and it's just simple. You just have you get 3 to 4 meals a day to begin with. As you exert more energy and put on more muscle, which burns calories. The nice thing about weight training is you insert your high intensity training in the gym, and
Mhm.
even when you go home, you're still burning calories. And
Yes.
the more muscle you put on, the more constant you're burning calories because it's a lot
Yes.
of work to carry muscle, right? You
Absolutely.
can call robots all you want, you'll just be a smaller version of yourself. Either way, it's what you eat and how much you eat and how you eat, right? And that means you got to go on your own schedule. Some people work all night, some people work all day. Eat every 2 to 3 hours. When you're hungry, eat. And I don't
Yeah.
mean meals, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I still eat the same.
Yes.
It's just ingrained in me. So I have a good breakfast and a snack, and my lunch, a snack and dinner. And depending on my activity level that day, then I'll have a snack. If I
Mhm.
didn't work out that day, then the less I do, the less I eat. The more I do, the more I eat. But every time I do,
Okay.
it's always clean. I cook it myself. If I go out,
Mhm.
I ask for everything on the side. Your chicken, egg whites, yolks are important. Don't skip the
Mhm.
yolks because there's a lot of
Yes.
things in the yolks. But you got to learn your nutrition. So as far as these fad diets,
Mhm.
the ketone, sometimes, some people need more carbohydrates in their
Absolutely.
routines.
Yes.
We're all different. We're all the same. And at the point where you got to eat clean, you got to eat often
Yes.
of the day. It keeps the metabolism burning. And
Mhm.
when I train people that want to lose weight or gain weight, I give them the same response initially: get used to eating.
Yes.
Some people are like, well, I want to lose weight. Well, yeah, I know. I'm going to pick up your metabolism because it's slowed
Yeah.
down. So it keeps it busy, right? Well, I want to gain weight. Well, and get used to eating, but I'm going to give them more calories to eat, right?
Mhm. So do
So
you do calorie deficits then?
no, well, I guess you could call it that. What I take out of it is sugar. I watch for the
Mhm.
amount of bad fats or
Yeah.
fats, right?
Mhm.
And then sodium, you got to watch the sodium, but you can always
Yeah.
flush it down, hydrate and keep it moving.
Absolutely.
You need a bit of salt in your diet regardless, right?
Regardless. Absolutely. Yeah.
But whatever fad diet you want to follow, you got to make sure that you're putting enough calories to
Mhm.
fuel your activity level. So it depends on what your sport is.
Yes.
Right? So for bodybuilders, we want to be big, and there's a point where competition we get shredded, which means we get
Mhm.
so lean. You can see the separations between the muscles, right?
Yeah.
Like my brother over here between my needles, right? So we take down the fats with no sugar at all, and then custom
Mhm.
fibers, no sodium, just a little bit,
Yeah.
but a lot of protein. So, and whether you get that through the BCAAs, your protein powders, and or your eggs and fish and lean chicken, lean meat. I never was a big red meat eater. That doesn't mean it's bad for you, but I always kind of like keep it, but make sure it's lean red meats. You know, marathon runners, you're going to need more carbohydrates. It doesn't matter because you're going to burn it off.
Yeah.
Whatever the calorie intake is, it depends on your sport. I just you want to be tight,
yes,
and toned and lean, like a fitness model guy or girl, or you know, fitness person. Keep your proteins high, keep your carbs low. Rotate the calories. So one day you have high carbohydrates, the next day you have low carbohydrates. You know, keep the body guessing, keep it working. So, you know, like the fad diets that come and go. What's always worked is just the general good proteins, healthy carbohydrates, and your fibers, your vegetables and fruits. And
so it's like common sense kind of,
it is simple.
diet. Yeah.
You know,
okay.
Ketone levels is when a bodybuilder goes into pre-contest level, then we start bringing our carbs way down to burn off any excesses under the skin. And so you get that separation and, you know,
the striation. Yeah.
And then we start to carb low to fill up the muscle underneath while we're still lean over here. That's why you look so shredded and sinewy and separated, right? But you can't keep that constantly. It's not good to stay in a ketone state. It's very hard and or damaging, right?
Okay. Yes.
So.
Hi, Sharon, this is Debbie Kraft.
Hello, Debbie Kraft. It's nice to meet you.
You too. You talk about, you know, having the lean carbs and all of that. I kind of need to know exactly what that means. So can you give me a typical day of food that you would eat?
Okay, so what I mean by lean carbs to begin with is, you know, you want to get a carb that's not so high in starches, like potatoes. Russet potatoes are very high. They're very starchy carb. Starches are the natural sugars in the potatoes. So my choice of carbs that are lower in sugars, natural sugars, are yams and sweet potatoes. And we all have rice. I'll eat white rice, brown rice, you know. Those are my high caloric carbs. Those are your lean carbs. The fibrous carbs are your vegetables. I eat a lot of broccoli, my favorite, green beans, asparagus. You can have as much salad as you want. You know, you throw your romaine lettuce in there and chop up your tomato, whatever you want, and mushrooms. And I like red peppers. They're high in vitamin C. You know, so it's a lot of vegetables. But yeah, the lean, you know, the least starchy carbs I love is yam, sweet potato, or rice.
Okay.
You know, I'll have pasta now and then because it's yummy, but again, it's higher in sugars, right? And again, it's not food that's going to kill you, but it depends on the physique that you're trying to attain or maintain. And you know, a lot of the athletes that are getting ready for competition, but that's because we want to be more lean than the average bear. You know, as long as it's fresh, as long as you make it yourself, then that's fine. You know, you can have potatoes, you can have your pastas and everything else, but just be again, just know what the sugars are in it. A good book for anyone watching this, for anyone here, and I always preach, is my favorite. And I think I started this with John when we were waiting for Sonny, and Douglas was buried with us. Was Sugar Blues. It's a book called Sugar Blues.
Sugar Blues, okay.
It's still in publication. You can get it off the internet. Sugar Blues, and it will blow your mind.
Who's the author on that?
Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
Okay, I'll just look it up.
Google it.
Sugar Blues. Okay.
Sugar Blues.
That's a very old book, way back.
Oh, way back, right? You know the book, right, Doug?
Back in the 80s.
80s. That's what wow. To me. See, here's a little tidbit of information. Back in the 80s, I just started training, and I saw my first bodybuilding show. I thought, oh man, I want to do that. But how do they, you know? So I had a trainer, but during that time, my then husband was, anyway, we were approached by Chippendales from Los Angeles because my husband at the time was a choreographer. He did a lot of musicals and everything in Canada. And so they approached him to choreograph the Chippendales when they came to Canada. And he's like, I don't want to work with a bunch of strippers. You know, I was like, no. I've seen a show, right? You know, so he ended up, he and his partners at the time that were part of the stage crew that he used to work with, they got a hold of the Chippendales when they came over, and they created these great routines, like big productions. And then they would host it, go out and here's your next guy, and then let the guys do their thing. Okay, these guys were the first guys I saw, like met in person, that were in phenomenal shape, like that, right?
Yeah.
Bodybuilder, kind of like abs and everything. And the only other person I actually saw was Bruce Lee. As a little girl, I was like 9. So I had a big little girl crush on him. It's like, but it's like, wow, look at that guy's not human. Then I started to get into the industry, and these guys, I'm like, how are you guys staying so lean? All these questions were, the same thing. Like, how'd you do that? So a lot of them I'm still friends with today. Of course, when I moved to California, I see them all at Gold's Gym, and still looking great. But they show me a lot of stuff, like how to stay lean in their diets. And it was one of the guys that gave me that book, Sugar Blues. And he goes, read this and it'll change the way you eat. And it did, because it explains even some like natural foods, like how much sugar is in that. It's like, wow, like there's a lot of things I will just not eat to this day. I'm not a big sweet tooth person. I might have a bit of dark chocolate now and then, or a glass of wine here and there, but I just don't eat. I'm not a candy. I don't eat that crap, right? Anyway, so that's a good one to read. It'll help you understand how to choose your foods properly and how to read your labels. Then the other one that I still have in my collection is the Nutrition Almanac. The Nutrition Almanac, it'll break down, it's like a Bible, it's like real thick, like, it's like an encyclopedia, but it breaks down all food components and what they do for your health and what will help with this and what's highest in vitamin C and which is highest in protein and which is leaner in fats and how it plays with your body. It is a big learning tool. And I still reference to that now and then. Now you can find on the internet as well, right? But now, this is before internet. These were the tools I had to learn from, that I was able to study and get down and research, so I can then later on in my years teach. But those are two very important books for something to go to, rather than just going over the internet. It's like, well, what is protein in your body? It's got everything in one spot. But anyway.
Thank you, Sharon. And thank you to each of you that are here. We just keep it going because we're just having a good time.
Don't get me started.
Hey, I want to get you started.
You were talking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Sonny. And then you can have the floor.
Okay.
So we have about 9 minutes to make it a rounded off hour. We can go over if you guys want to. Yeah, because we're having so much fun.
This again.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, I'm going to ask my question before we. Let's keep going.
I have a question, but I'm going to let Sonny go. There you go.
Thanks, Sean.
Oh, and Debbie's got a question. So
you're going age before beauty then? Okay.
That would be me, Sonny. I'm the older one.
You're good to go.
Well, I'm the younger one. That's why it's age before beauty. That's what it is. So Sharon, you were talking about increasing your metabolism, right? Earlier. What would you recommend, or how can we increase our metabolism? Because, everybody's always talking about cardio, this, do that. I hear many things. I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay, and here we go, right? Again.
Oh boy, sounds serious.
It's like I'm a broken record over here.
Yes.
How to eat. You have to eat. No, I don't mean like pig out. So everything we spoke about nutrition and the right food choices.
Yes.
Right? But you gotta, I think everybody should eat every 3 hours, every 3 to 4 hours. Hey, when I was working in production for 20th Century, on supervising sets or on set for myself and or in the office just on the phone, I would keep like snacks by me, like protein bars or nuts or anything to snack on. So if I didn't get my lunch in or, a proper snack, I'd always had something to snack on. I always had food in my bag, right? And or if I had the time, every 3 to 4 hours, I would eat something. You know, get your good breakfast in. Breakfast is important. That gets it kicks it right away, kicks that metabolism right away. You might feel like, oh, I'm just kind of full. It just slows me down in the morning. No, no, it's very important. So you got to eat every 3 to 4 hours, maybe every 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on your activity level. When I was competing, I was eating every 2 hours. I was starving. When you're starving, your metabolism is working.
Yes.
When you just don't feel hungry, or oh, I feel full, or I feel bloated, nah, you know, you got to force yourself. I remember when I first started the game of bodybuilding, right, long before I even started competing, my initial coach, she got me in the habit of eating, because prior to that, I was a model, very tall, skinny. It played well for me. I was always busy, and or in the dance studio, and always burning off calories, right? And I maybe once or twice a day, you know. And I was like, if I had breakfast, and I did, I go all day. And she looked at mine. She was like, okay, write down what you eat, you know, on a general day, you know. So I showed her. I'm like, yeah. She goes, where's your protein? And what? This is what you live on? It's like, no wonder you're so skinny, you know. So she had me start eating like every 2.5 to 3 hours, and I couldn't. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. This is way like I'm gonna get fat, you know. And she said, no, just get it, shovel it in, you know, get used to it. And within, I think, about 2 weeks or so, I was starving. I couldn't wait for that next meal. So you got to train it or retrain it or keep it burning. What will complement that is working out. And again, whether it's martial arts or it's the gym or swimming or cycling, whatever it is, and or just walking. You don't want to beat yourself up. So a lot of people think, oh, I find those that want to lose weight, right? They're in there, they're doing an hour cardio, an hour of skipping, an hour of the cycling, an hour, you know, it's like, well, you can't beat it up, because then you're going to shut down your metabolism. The body is a very, very, very smart, intelligent tool. And I always say, out of your head, your body can think on its own. It's very, very lazy and stubborn. It doesn't want to work out. You know, it's very lazy. You got to train it. You got to keep training it. It's your machine. You got to keep it tuned. If you do too much, you beat yourself up thinking more is better, right? Like doing too much cardio or too much workouts or whatever, and then not eating enough, especially, your body shuts down. It will hold on to its fat storage, because fat is important for survival, for your organs, skin, for your brain. You need a certain amount of fat in your body. Your body's going to think, well, shit, you know, hey, no, forget it. It's just going to shut down, and then good luck losing that weight. That's why a lot of these diets too are yo-yo for a lot of people, because they stuck to this bad diet or whatever diet, you know, and the workouts and everything else, and then they just kind of burn themselves out. Then when they stop and they just start eating normal again, and the body's all wonky. So you got to get in the calories, right? And again, you got to design it towards your activity level. The more you do, the more you eat. The less you do, the less you eat. You got to keep moving. You got to help that metabolism work. Keep everything working. Keep everything moving. The greasy wheel, what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Is that what it says? Right? You just got to keep moving and keep feeding yourself, and you will stay lean, and you'll keep the weight off. And there are people, you know, forgive me, because there are people with health issues where this is just so simple for them. And again, it's all about getting your blood work done. Find out nutrition and how you can help yourself, how you can feed yourself to get over the deficiencies, and it's going to help with the aging as well as we get older. So you just got to stay on top of it. It's a project, you know. This is a project. I mean, it's work. It's not a lot. It's not as much work as people think, though. Like when they see like these photos, oh my God, what do you train like 6 hours a day and like eat like, you know, 10 pounds of beef? I know, it's very simple. You know, it takes time. Like any sport or, you know, anything. But it's just what you eat, how you eat, when you eat. And keep moving.
Absolutely. Everybody's just too busy on instant gratifications. They want their now. That's the problem, I believe. Instead of that, slowly work your way up or work your way down kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. And be patient. Good things happen to those who are patient. You got to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. Not for any of us. There's no magic pill. You know.
Yes, that's exactly correct. John or Debbie, your question?
Yeah, my question, Sharon, I was reading something yesterday about, you know, if you want to lose weight and stuff, of course, we all know we have to drink water, but they were saying to put lemon in your water. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like lemon water, you know, that helps to flush out, like detox.
Okay,
You know, it's refreshing that, but you know, some find that it picks up your metabolism. Some find that it does, you know, helps to detox your system. Just flush it through. It doesn't hurt. Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
John, did you? Go ahead, John.
Well, how long do you want to keep going, Sharon?
I'm at your avail, so
Really?
you know, yeah.
Well, that's a dangerous thing to say.
Let me reword that.
So,
I can do another 20
okay, well,
if everyone's on board.
Yeah, absolutely.
we are not bored. And I'm so grateful that you came to this, because really we're little guys, little fishes in a big pond, and I appreciate it that you would spend time with those of us that are swimming down here in the shallow. And
I'm still amazed that Sir Douglas Wong is here.
Yes, and I was just going to bring that up.
I'm so starstruck. I mean, I think you guys are wonderful too. It's like, you know, thank you for, you know, inviting me here. It's wonderful to meet everybody here. And nobody's a little fish, and we're all big fish in the sea, man.
Thank you. Yeah, every human being has a place.
We all have something to
have a purpose.
And, you know, and it's fun. Like, you know, you always learn. You're continuously learning. That's why I love meeting new people, trying out new things. And I'm always about opening up and learning, right? I don't know everything.
Right. We can't know everything.
Yeah.
So, sir, Grandmaster Douglas Wong, we talked about this earlier, but you were on the original cast of Kung Fu that released in 1972. You had mentioned to us earlier that you had trained David Carradine for that show, and that you were one of the actors on the show. And also that besides that, you went on to your own career in movies, entertainment, TV shows. Your wife is also an actress, a grandmaster, and she has done plenty of her own of how do you say it, the stuff that's out there. Everybody wants to go see it. You guys are just absolutely have been entertaining us all around the world for many, many years, and thank you so much. And your son now, Travis, is doing it, and you mentioned your daughter also is doing in the entertainment business.
Right.
And can you tell us a little bit, whatever you can share with us about what they're doing, new projects, and how we can help them in any way other than being entertained? Anyway, I'll let you have the floor, sir.
Well, they're all pretty busy in their careers. You know, my daughter, like I said, works for Nick Cannon, but she just recently had our first granddaughter. She's 6 months old now, so she's working all the time, taking the baby to work, working on the production there while they're filming. And twice a week, she leaves the baby here, the granddaughter, with us, so we take care of her while she's working in different production, or sometimes she has to work until midnight on different shows. So we try to help her out with that, but she's busy, you know, just doing that. And my other daughter is in Colorado. She's a chef. She won a full scholarship out of high school. She won the 2012 high school cooking contest.
Excellent.
Won a 4-year scholarship to Johnson and Wales culinary school. So she did that. So now she had our first grandson. Now she's expecting our second grandson in May, coming up next month. So
Right.
we'll wait for that. So, you know, our family's slowly growing. And my
Right.
son has just been busily working. He's on constant call left and right, working on 2, 3 different projects at a time. He's worked with so many different big names. He was on the Fast and Furious 7. And so that's where he worked with different people, Paul Williams and all those guys that was on there. The guy passed away. But he met so many people, you know, Tony Zhao and all these guys. And he's always constantly working, just like he's the one who's working with Jamie Foxx now. Steve Lambert worked with him on White House Down. So we're all part of the family, you know, so it just continues that, you know, we know these different actors working on it. And then my brother and we worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger since 1975 when he was doing Conan. So him and my brother have always been close. They talk with each other at least once a month. So you know, he's always telling me, you got to keep working. You can't retire. You got, you know, Arnold's always on the go. So he's something. So we know him for a long time. I helped work with him on some of the sword work for the Conan series back then. So
That's Mr. and Mrs. Wong right there, superstars.
Oh,
You guys are
That's it.
superstars, phenomenal.
Yep.
Yes.
wow.
Yes, and my wife worked on with Anthony Jolie on the first movie that was what was it, cyber whatever, I forget the name of the movies. Anyway, Van Damme did the first one, and then she did Cyborg. That's right. Yeah, Cyborg. So
Nice.
she did Cyborg 2, and Anthony Jolie was star. That was her first movie. And so after that, she's been taking private lessons from my wife, learning all the different work with different weapons, swords, knives. You know, she was into all that kind of stuff like that. So we worked with quite a few different stars. You know, I worked with Ryan Gosling, you know, Kevin Sorbo for Hercules, Lucy Lawless for Xena. I trained all those guys for that. And then, you know, a bunch of different people. Jason Scott Lee for Dragon. I worked on that also. He trained at my studio for 6 months before they did the movie Dragon. So, you know, I've been up and down working different things. And a lot of times James and Albert, you know, they get in different movies, but they don't like to train people. So I always end up training the guys for the different movies. So whatever they worked on, I would work with the different stars and stuff like that. I'd rather be behind the scenes instead of in front in the camera. So I'm not in the camera part of the business at all. So, you know, I love training people. That's my specialty, a teacher. That's all I've always been and always will enjoy doing.
Right.
So
As a
right now, they're all doing great. You know, all the kids are doing great, and just following their career and let them continue on. And we start training our grandson now, so you know, trying to get them into all this stuff. So,
Right.
so that's just part of what we're doing.
So I would be very proud if I was you and if my grandkids were doing anything that is, you know, athletic and out there doing what they do. I just love to watch my grandkids, and I can just imagine what it's like for you to see all this on a large scale. Did you ever think that was possible, that it could happen?
Well, we you know, I always trained my kids from young. I always wanted them to follow how they were trained. Because I started all my kids young before they could walk. Started my son at 6 months old, my oldest daughter at 3 months old, my youngest daughter at 2 months old. So we did different exercises that we did with them, give them the coordination of movement. You know, we had them walking on pulling up on little small stick or dowels where they practiced where they didn't use any walkers at all. And while they held the sticks in their hands, we circled it in and out, pushing it forward and backwards, simulating their punching, their circling of hands. And so this helped them focus. Because throughout school, from kindergarten on up, they were straight A students. So they had no problems, no discipline problem, because they were always focused on everything. They got into track, into football, into basketball. They were always top athlete in school. You know, they excel and everything, but the martial art has helped them. So that's the main thing. I just mainly wanted them to learn it, to be focused on it. So now trying to pass on to the grandkids, the same thing. Whatever career they want, it's great. You know, it's just that we want them to have something that's keep their mind and body open, you know, develop themselves, focus on life, you know, and make wise choices.
Right. Right.
That's
Thank you,
so
sir.
important because I think every child should be involved in some sort of sport activity. Because like you said, Mr. Wong said the discipline and the focus that it it creates in an individual. It's just, I would, I never had the blessings of having children, but they'd definitely be jocks because it's just,
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. They're
So,
just-
thank you, Grandmaster Wong, for being here.
Yeah.
It was a great honor, pleasure talking to you. I always look forward to seeing your posts because I learn a lot. And okay, so Sharon.
I have one more question for Sharon. Sorry, John, to cut off because she
Sonny, go for it.
left the door open. She said, I can ask more questions. So I got one more question before we ask our final question. What's your thoughts on spot training? Is that what they call it? Like so many people are like always going, just work your abs or whatever, and it'll go down. But I know it's a full whole body thing. You can't really do that spot training,
well,
right?
when it comes to abs, that's a different story, right? Spot
Yes.
training. I just want to do abs. Well, it starts in the kitchen. Abs start in the kitchen. So
Mhm.
you can do all the sit-ups you want. You can spot train all you want.
Yep.
I'll sit up every day and go for it.
Yep.
Oh, it depends on what you eat because you want to. It's in there, but you're not going to be able to see it if you're not eating properly. Spot training. Hey, you're going to notice somebody who only trains shoulders and arms, walking
Yeah.
on stick legs. So spot training. If you just want to do one body part, well, fine, but you got to keep it balanced.
Absolutely.
You can just work out arms and have huge arms, but okay, right? Chicken legs, or
Yeah. They look good from the waist up, but and when you see the rest.
Hey, I tell you, when when I first started training, I found out my legs are very strong. And I'm long. I'm 5'9". I'm very tall, so I have a long
Yeah.
muscle. But I just wanted a booty and some nice curvy, hot legs, right?
Mhm.
When I first saw my first photo was Rachel McClish. She was the first ever Miss Olympia.
Yes.
Icon in the industry, right? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it was about 83. And a friend of mine showed me, she was on the cover of Flex at that time.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, it just blew me away because I always appreciated sports. And, so I did well at it, but I don't like being skinny, tall and skinny, right? I
Yep.
saw the legs, I'm like, I want legs like that. That's my goal. But
Yes.
oh my God, look at her arms. She's huge. And I don't like her arms, but I want those legs. And now today, I look like a massive monster next to her, muscular. But so I just train legs, and I had a powerful set of legs, but like no upper body, it's like narrow, skinny arms and everything else. So you got to keep it in balance, But
Yes.
a lot of what you mentioned again, spot training, it's usually people that just want to train their abs. Like I said, you can go for it, but and it doesn't matter what you're training. And again, it's how you feed it. But
Nutrition, very important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone else have any questions before I turn it over to Sonny? And then you can wrap it up.
All right. Nope. I'm good for now. I'm sure I'll have more questions once we end it because sometimes it doesn't come to you until you have a chance to actually think about it. So don't be surprised if I call you or email you, Sharon. if that's okay, that would be greatly appreciated.
Reach out anytime.
All right.
I always found that I did seminars. I had a huge room. It was like a seminar and prepare for whatever they asked us to come prepared with. And open up the floor. It's like any questions, and nobody. Oh, I guess I did a pretty good job then. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next year. So close it down. You have a line of people waiting to ask a question.
Exactly.
I ask in front of everyone else, and you know what? It was usually the same question. So.
Well, here's one that hasn't been asked yet, and we've danced around it, but I'll get to the point on this. So I have some 85-year-old relatives, male and female, and even maybe a little older than that. And for them and their their fitness because they can't do what a 25-year-old or a 50-year-old or a 70-year-old can do. They're limited in many ways, and so they've got disabilities, handicaps, etc. What
Mhm.
can they do to prolong their life? Is it eating mainly? Is it eating and exercise?
Both. And I find, especially with my elders, and I use this for my parents. They're now in heaven, but for the elders, I find pool exercises are the best. If they have access to a swimming pool, not the ocean because they get tossed around, the sand, everything,
Right.
you still be somewhat strong to battle the
Yeah.
ocean, as a swimmer. But they have access to a pool, public pool, or they have their own pool. That's even better. And just do like power walks to their level. It's no contest, right? They're just
Mhm.
competing against themselves. So I just have them walk from one side of the pool to the other, just walk. Because even that motion and fighting in
And
the
that resist.
water gives you the
Mhm.
resistance. And it's a very gentle workout. And
Yes.
it's easy on the joints, on
Hmm.
their bones, on whatever, and it'll make them strong. It'll help at least maintain, if not get them a little bit stronger. And it's to do, right? It's non-invasive, it's non-intimidating,
Yep.
and go at their own pace. But yeah, water activity is the best.
Okay.
That's
Even people with
great
patients.
advice. On the other side of the spectrum, Sharon, how how young should they start working on weight training or muscle building? It I know I hear people saying 14, 16 or older. Like my daughter, for example, my youngest daughter is 12 and she is strong, and she's my wife is starting to get her into doing some weight training, which I'm okay with because she's doing a lot of body weight training as it is right now, and she'll outdo me doing pull-ups, never mind any other boy. But weight training, how young do you think, or how?
You know, Weight training is the basis of all sports.
Yes.
Um, you go into Gold's Gym of the Day and you see every athlete of every walk of life in there
Hmm.
because it gives you the base, your muscular
Yes.
base, your strength, what have you, right?
Hmm.
You can start training at any age. I mean, children, they'll respond faster. It doesn't
Yes.
stop their growth. They're
Okay.
not putting her into a power lift.
That's the thing that we always hear.
It's
Exactly.
okay, especially with the machines now, because
Yes.
in the free weights, the machines give it controlled motion. So
Absolutely.
she's always protected, especially for the
Yep.
young newbies that are in the gym.
Hmm.
Everything is structured so that it's a safe and controlled motion. But it's okay to get into the gym.
Yes.
And again, like I was always into track, as far as
Yep.
young as 8, 9, 10 years old. I loved track. I was always on
Yep.
the track team in my school. We moved around a lot as a kid.
Yep.
I was always on the track team. And they had us in the weight room sometimes doing like presses and curls and that just to give us more power. And then of course
Hmm.
sprints and our wind sprints and that. But it's never too late. It's never too early. I mean, obviously you don't want them in diapers, but it's like I think about the 8, 9, 10. I mean,
Yep.
you've got some youth, right, Master Wong, that start
Mm.
martial arts when they're like 4 years old.
Even, yeah, before they can walk. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't see any harm in going to the gym and just doing some basic structures. And it can help
Yes.
posture as
Yep.
well, keeping the body balanced, keeping the bones strong, and what have you. And again, as we're young, we're always growing and we're still sprouting, but there's no harm in stepping to the gym. Yeah, just be
Okay.
careful. Use the controlled weights. But and
Yeah.
again, just going in there to it's a great activity. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. So make sure that they have proper instruction, proper supervision before you let them do it themselves, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. No,
I need guidance.
that's terrific. So now, I guess we're getting close to the end. I wanted to ask the last questions. I'm sure you've got many projects at hand right now going, but is there anything specific that you're doing or you're about to launch or about to, how can we get a hold of you? How can people get a hold of you? Or is there a website? I
Right.
mean, I'm sure after watching this or people seeing this kind of thing, questions will come up. I'm like, my wife right now is out with the kids, so she said, I'm going to watch the interview and then I'll have questions. And I said, okay, I'll make sure I get it. I'll get your questions to her
Oh, that's
after.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Reach out.
so what are you up to now, Sharon, that we can learn about what you're going to be doing, what you're doing right now, your
Okay.
your
Well, I
future?
have been working on my YouTube channel. I was planning on launching that back in 2019, but then COVID hit and I lost access to my studios and everything, and I got injured. So I had arthritis in my knees. Go figure. Me, the athlete, thinking it couldn't just be arthritis. I'm not that old, and it's like, no, there's something wrong. You know, I want answers. Well, I got them. So anyway, so getting those strong again. Back in action. So I will have my YouTube channel along with, I'll connect it to Instagram and Facebook as well, which I'm at right now on Instagram. And I also link it to Muscle and Fitness Plus, which has a huge anti-aging platform right now. And so I will announce on my feeds when I'll be launching the channels. And also I am finalizing deals with a skincare product for anti-aging skin, or anti-aging for aging skin, you know, for the anti-aging, but and for us old gals. And also a fitness book, nutrition and fitness book. So those will be coming out soon. So that's what I've been working on. And yeah, hopefully by mid to the end of April, those will all be available. In the meantime, reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm always try to get back to everyone as best I can. Sometimes I get angry DMs like, they haven't answered me yet. You know, I'm trying to get, trying to get through everybody. Everybody matters, so please, forgive me if I don't get back to you right away. But yeah, any questions, just reach out. I'm here to help.
Oh, no, that's terrific. Make sure you please save me a signed autograph copy of your book. Just tell me where to send the funds so I can get it. So that'd be great. I can put it in my collection of your magazines that I have.
Blown away. That's so, thank you. Thank you for that.
So again, thank you for joining us. Great Grandmaster Wong, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your thoughts and your input on all this too as well. Tracy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So make sure once we have this all put out, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to write any other questions or comments underneath the, I guess, the replay, because in the long run, this will get back to Sharon as well as Great Grandmaster Wong there. If you've got specific questions on fitness, martial arts, movie stuff, because they all have that. So again, thank you very much, John.
Well, Sharon and I talked about this before we did all this.
Okay.
And like who to mention, and like if we had titles and stuff. Nope, we do. But what I'd like to say is that Sonny and I and Sifu Aldecoscus and my instructor, Great Grandmaster Rob Castro, were kind of trying to join forces. And maybe you can tell us a little bit, Sonny, about what we're up to.
We're actually looking at hosting a couple events in either in Hawaii as well as in California. So right now I can't really say too much of it until we have everything solidified, and how can you say, every T's cross, I's dot. But we do have some big events that we're looking at hosting and planning, you could say. So again,
so that will be a surprise.
Absolutely. If anything, Sharon and Grandmaster Wong, once we have it all set up, we're looking at having people from the fitness industry like yourself, and yourself too, Great Grandmaster Wong, to maybe partake in it in some form of another. It's possible. Oh, that's terrific. Thank you very much.
So
Absolutely.
right now, the shout out would be to the International Kaji Kenpo Association and the International Shaolin Kenpo Association.
Yes.
And Grandmaster Wong, what is your association or your school, or would you like to advertise that at all? And just give a shout out.
We're known as the White Lotus Kung Fu System. So White Lotus International Martial Arts System. So we have a website on Facebook, and that's about it right now. And my other one, my website is whitelotuskungfu.com in case they need to contact me or anything like that. So on that. So not too much on to the Facebook thing. I've been off for the last couple of weeks, been busy doing other things, but
Lucky you.
And
Well,
Sharon, do you have a website that
It'll be coming out. It'll be
will
connected.
be coming out? Okay, I was just confirming that, just making sure we have that
Is
added
anybody going to the Martial Arts Hall of Fame in May?
in May. Which one is that
I
one?
think it's at the Long Beach.
my wife has been inducted into that, so I will
I
probably
may be
be
there. Oh, I hope to see you there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be awesome.
That would be
Huge
interesting.
fan. Did I say that?
Don't
Very
forget
good.
to take the selfie.
That's right.
Congratulations to your wife, sir.
Yes, exactly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
Well, everybody, it's been a joy, and it's such an honor to be invited here today and to meet all of you. And hopefully next time we can all sit and break bread together. That would be wonderful.
yes, that would be wonderful. And again, hopefully we'll be able to get you back again once you have everything all launched, Sharon, because I'm sure more people would love to know about it.
Oh, that would be incredible. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, terrific. Well, thank you very much, guys. Again, thank
Bye.
you and blessings. Aloha, as always.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.